Thank you so much for accepting my request for this interview, Sheila.
Thank you so much for asking me.
We've been connected for almost 3 months now, and I have watched I listened to you in many spaces. I'm highly impressed with what you do and how you interact, how you contribute to different things. So I felt like it would be great to interview you for my podcast. Every time I talk to somebody, either a person or a situation that shaped their career and their life. So that's what I try to extract from all these interview. And my hope is that people who will listen to this will learn that their life and their career is like 20, 30 year, and there many things will happen. So just keep going.
Oh, yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
So I've been writing for about almost 3 years. This is about 6 month old.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right, so we will start with, I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about what you do, why people should contact you, and how you can help them.
The elevator pitch. Well, I'm a freelance copywriter. I consider myself a generalist, not a specialist. I wanted to be in the digital marketing niche, but it hasn't happened that way. I had clients all over the space in different fields. So even though I have digital niche in the digital niche marketing clients, I do a bit of everything. And basically I write every kind of different type of marketing copy. I am a strange kind of copywriter because even though I'm a direct response copywriter, I haven't been judged so much by the metrics. It's just that people like my writing, and I do all sorts of landing pages, email sequences. I've done sales pages. I do a lot of ghostwriting for Twitter as well. So that's what I do. But what I like to consider myself a writer for, I just infuse a little bit of soul to the brands. So I like to, my writing is basically just infuse a little humanity to brands, to tell facts and figures and bring that emotion to everything they do. So that's basically what I do every day. And this is my side hustle. I do it on night and weekends because I do have a 9 to 5 as well.
I can understand how difficult these side hustles are. What you wanted to become when you was in high school?
Actually, when I was in high school, I always wanted to become a writer because I remember I'm from Puerto Rico and the native language here is Spanish. So my Spanish teacher always told me that I was going to be a writer because she really liked the way I wrote. And I remember she even registered me in this competition, this writing competition, short story. And I wrote for that, and she was like very inspiring and telling me that I should write. But I think that society and the family and the status quo push you to certain aspects of traditional things that you should do, because as you know, writing is not something, it's like everyone considers it to be a hobby, not a full-time job. So I went to school and I went to the safe route and I studied biology because I wanted to become maybe a doctor or to do a master's degree in biology or work in a pharmaceutical company, something like that. So I did that, but I remember that when I was finishing the last year of the bachelor degree, I was really bored with it, and everyone was having a really great time. And I remember I was doing I think it was a microbiology lab, and everyone was doing these jokes about bacteria and everything and having this great time. And I wanted to kill myself because I was so bored. I hated it. And I said, that was like the moment I said, I don't want to study biology because I really don't like it. And I took a course by them because I was just finishing and I wanted an ECA. I took an advertising course in just finishing the bachelor degree, and I loved that class. And when I graduated, I said, I'm going to do my master's degree in advertising. So I did my master, even though the bachelor degree is in biology, I did my master in advertising. But I always wanted to write, but I never did. After I finished my master's degree, I tried to get jobs in advertising. But by that time in Puerto Rico, we were the first class that graduated with a master's degree in advertising in Puerto Rico. So every door that I touched, and my friends as well, they said that we were overqualified. So nobody wanted to give us a job because we were overqualified. And I remember that I got a call for a pharmaceutical sales job, and I knew those jobs pay really well. And I had my bachelor degree in biology, and I said, well, why not? And that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years.
So that pharmaceutical job.
Yeah, I've changed. I changed quite a lot of companies, and actually, I'm in oncology sales right now. So I that's my 9 to 5 actually. And but 2 years ago, I remember that I wanted to use my my master's degree in advertising because I've never used it before. I did sales and I did marketing, but I wanted to do a role more in depth in marketing and advertising. So I had this business unit director, and I wanted to apply for a job as a digital marketer in the pharmaceutical company that I was working. And I knew that I had all the qualifications for the job. And when I went to talk to her and I said that I would like to apply, her answer was awful. She told me that basically those were the big leagues and I was an amateur. So that I really shouldn't apply because she basically told me that she wouldn't even give me the chance to interview for that role because I didn't stand to part with what the job entailed. So I was so pissed about that, and I was so angry because I knew that I had better qualifications than the candidates that she was actually interviewing. That was the inciting moment that I said, oh, forget it. I don't want to work for anyone. I hate this, and I'm going to start to write. And that's how I started in copywriting.
So 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I started taking a lot of courses and certifications in marketing, copywriting, and all sorts of things. Writing professionally, I've been writing for a year.
Okay, but that incident happened 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I heard that in one of the conversation we was having in one of the Twitter space, and I was so impressed by that. I admire you for that you didn't take somebody's word by heart. And you know why I'm saying that? Because maybe 10-15 years ago, when I wanted to become a manager, a similar type thing happened. You would reach out to either your supervisor or some colleague, or you share your aspiration, and they would make a comment that is not so encouraging.
Yeah.
Right. And now I can see that because of those comments, I delayed to apply. I felt like I'm not ready. And now I can see that the other side of it, at least in my case, I didn't feel ready, and I was expecting other people will show confidence so I can feel confident. I wish if I can go back and say, no, don't even ask other people. Unless you feel confident, unless you act confident and really feel like from inside that you are ready, it's hard for other people to show that confidence in you. So I hope I can teach that now to other people who are me 10 years ago. And I think together we can do it.
Yeah, but you shouldn't feel bad about that, because I think that we mature with pain, with the struggles, with time, and I think you were younger, and many people will have responded the same way as you, so you shouldn't take that by heart.
And here you are, after 2 years, you have more followers and you have more reputation, credibility than whoever she has hired or whoever, even her herself, right? So I really admire you for that, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes the things that we see as something really bad in the moment is a blessing in disguise, because I was in my comfort zone. I was doing what I've done for so many years that I did in autopilot, that is pharmaceutical sales. That's something that I know, and I think that I do really well because I've been doing it for a long time. And that moment was like the something that catapult that wish for me to start writing. That was what I was supposed to do since high school. So I not wasted, because I like my pharmaceutical sales job, but I spent all this time that I could have started writing, and I waited so many years. And if it wasn't for her, maybe I wouldn't have been writing yet. So
I want to dig deeper, if that's okay with you.
yeah, of
So
course.
I don't know if you remember, but you had that conversation that day. How did you feel? What happened? What was going on after that?
I was feeling really, first of all, angry, disappointed, and I felt stuck. I felt like, oh my God, am I supposed to do this job for for so many years from now? So I felt really stuck. And then I like you, that comment like started to work on your psychology, and I started to think, maybe I'm not prepared for this. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should prepare more. And that was what inspired me to start taking certifications. And I started to take digital marketing courses, and I took the American marketing certification. I took it and passed it as well. So I started to prepare, maybe because I believe the lie that she told me that I wasn't prepared, but it in the long run it's helped me a lot, because now I feel like I have all the skills and knowledge that I need. Obviously, is something that you have to work each day and you keep learning, but it was something that in the long run really helped me.
I'm assuming it took some days or weeks or month for you to kind of get over it.
I don't remember exactly, but I think that I was so angry, and I wanted to prove her wrong. That I think that within the first like 2 days, I started to look for information about digital marketing course.
Okay.
And
2
I
days.
enrolled like 2 days, and I enrolled really fast in one that was free. That was the first course that I took. That is the Google Digital Marketing course. That is 40-hour course. And I took that, and after that, I immediately enrolled in other courses. So I didn't spend a lot of time ruminating about what she said. I consider myself to be action oriented. I'm not a really like planner. I don't like a lot of planning. I'm just in the execution part. That's more myself.
Awesome. So within 2 days, like within 1 week, you turned that sadness into actions, and then once you took action, you was flying.
Yeah.
So what happened after you did all these courses? How did you reach to the point where you have 21,000 followers on Twitter?
Well, in in January 2021, I took the first copywriting course, and I ended with a complete portfolio, a whole sales funnel, and I wrote for a digital marketing brand. And but after that, I had the knowledge and I have the whole portfolio, but you start from scratch, so I didn't have any clients. So I remember that by that time, because I took the course with Alex Catoni, and she said that one of the ways that you could get clients, it was to build a personal brand. But she was talking about Instagram, because she mostly uses YouTube and Instagram. And I remember I don't like Instagram that much, because I think that is more vanity oriented, and I'm sorry for those that love Instagram, but it's not my personal preference. And I remember that I try out Twitter, because I said this is not photos of people, and it's just thoughts. So I remember I started on Twitter as everyone else. I suck. I didn't have any idea what I was doing, and I started to post tweets about copywriting. But you learn in the way, along the way. When I started putting those tweets, I got 0 likes, and that hurts. That hurts your self-esteem, because you say, oh my God, I suck so bad. I'm not gonna keep posting. But anyway, I kept posting, but I didn't do it as constantly. I just did it 3 times a week or something like that. But I remember that very early on, I started like posting on May or June on Twitter. And maybe by June or July, one person approached me and said, oh, I really like your tweets. Can you help me? I'm going to launch a product. It was a fintech product, and he wanted me to write some blog articles and do his homepage. And I was like, wow, this person has so much faith, because I've never written for anybody. I didn't tell him that he was going to be my first client, because I wanted him to believe that I was very professional. But I was very honest with him that I was a new copywriter. He just didn't know that he was actually my first client. So, but something that helped me, I remember that when I checked the copy that he had already, I said, I can do something better than this, because the copy wasn't that good. And that was my first try. And because I had that person that trusted me, inspired me to write more constantly on Twitter, because if he liked just one of my tweets, maybe other people will like it. So I started posting more constantly. I remember in August 2021, I joined the Tweet 100 challenge with Jay Klaus. And I think that was the main point there, where I started to get traction on my account, because every post that you did, you use the hashtag tweet100, the tweet100 hashtag, and that gave you a little bit more exposure, because there were a lot of people doing the challenge. So it kind of amplified your tweets. And that was, I started getting followers, not a lot of followers, but I started getting followers. By September, I took Sahil Bloom's audience building course. So he basically teaches you how to write the hooks for the tweets, the distribution, and that helped a lot. And also he basically built this community of the people that took the course, and we became like a family, like friends. And we have this channel, and every time one of us posted, we interacted with those posts and amplify it. So that was the second thing that helped me grow a lot. And that was in September. And after September, that was when the account started to grow and grow. And Thankfully, it's been doing well, but there's no secret. My secret is that I write consistently every day. I show up. I usually post 3 times a day. So that's basically the main recipe. Just stay consistent and show up every day.
We'll come back on this. How do you manage all this? When you got this first client, how did you come up with the pricing? Did he suggest a price or you came up with it? Or what happened?
No, I came up with it, but we had from the course that I took with Alex Catoni, she gave us a pricing guide for
Okay.
when you are a new copywriter. So I had that as my guide. I also downloaded the AWAI guide that usually American Writing Association guides. It has all the prices too. So I use those as my guides to charge, but obviously you are new, you don't have any testimonials, you don't have social proof. So basically those guys give you a price range. So I always went with the lowest one because I didn't even, of course you want the money, but I just wanted the testimonials and the social proof. So that was how I set my price, and I went really, really low.
Are you happy with your journey so far?
I'm really happy. I think I've been blessed. And like I say, I haven't been writing for that long, just a year. And in a year, I had a lot of clients, and I've done a real different things and different copy assets. And I have so many opportunities to write for great people. For example, right now I'm writing for a marketer, a digital marketer that I really admire. And when he approached me, I can't believe he wants me to write for him because I've admired this person for so long. I've written for HubSpot that I never in a million years I thought that I could write for them, because HubSpot is a huge brand. So in a year, I think that I've been more than lucky, and I'm super happy with my journey so far. And I love to write, and I'm happy writing. So I'm really, really glad how it's turned out.
And all these opportunities are coming to you rather than you approaching them.
They are coming to me. I don't even have yet, and I know that's not something that is right. I should have one, but I don't even have a web page yet. I get approached through DMs all the time. So all my clients approach me. I don't use any job board, or I don't have, like I said, the site. So they get I get approached through direct message.
What did work for you? I mean, did you try to find out?
Yes, I've asked, and they always point to some tweet that I did that they love. Usually it's a thread. For example, I remember a sales thread that I did, and that got me a client. One single tweet that I did that got me another client. So they always tell me it was this tweet or it was this thread, or maybe I've been following you for a few weeks or a few months, and I like your writing style, and that's why I approach you. So they do tell me why.
So before we jump into the next section, I wanted to ask you, if somebody's starting today, like me, what would you advise?
First of all, if you don't have that much time to write original tweets, first of all, you should add value to other people's audience. You don't necessarily need to build your audience right away. I think that you can steal someone else's audience, and just by providing value and real value. It's not that, let's say that in your case, like you're saying, you're a new writer. So if your niche is going to be about writing, copywriting, marketing, just look for the biggest accounts in your space. And when they do a tweet, just try to add value to that tweet it's not, oh, I love this, oh, this is great.
Mhm.
That doesn't add any value to that person or to that person's audience. Just amplify that tweet just by adding your own voice and more value, and that will be my first step. The second step is, of course, you should try to start to write your own tweets, single tweets, and you have to do it consistently. And the way to learn how to write tweets is just by following the accounts, the bigger accounts, and there's a rhythm and a cadence and a wordplay for Twitter, and you just have to figure out, and you will figure it out if you analyze the people that has a lot of followers. You will see how they write, why they write. And for example, you will always see in the single tweets that there are two main parts for a single tweet. It's going to be your hook, it's the first sentence, but the last sentence is equally important, because I think that the last sentence is the one that gets you the retweets. The first sentence is the one that gets people to read it, but the last sentence is the one that is going to get you a retweet. So just study those big accounts. For example, I remember that when I started, I remember studying J.K. Molina's tweet, writing to riches, Amanda Natividad, I love her content. Those sort of people that know Twitter really well and do well, Blake Amal, those type of accounts, I just study their tweets to get a sense of what works on Twitter and just modify it to my own voice. I'm not going to plagiarize, because that doesn't work, and people will notice. But that will be my second advice, to do that. If you want to improve your tweets, just look for people in your niche that tweet consistently, and just try to analyze those tweets to see what is working and what is not.
Great advice. Thank you. How you manage all this? How your typical day or a week look like?
A disaster. People listening or people that are going to see this, I don't advise anyone to follow this, because it's not sustainable. And for example, my typical day, I get up at 4:10 in the morning to go to the gym. I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's the only chance I get. If I don't go at that time, I won't go in the day. So I go at 5, then I come here and I do breakfast and take my kid to school. I'm a single mom, so I have to take him to school. I leave him in school and I go to my 9 to 5. It's a really demanding 9 to 5. Then I go pick my kid at school. I come here, I study with him, and when I finish studying with him, I start writing, and I write. I almost every night I write for 2 or 3 hours. So I almost every day just sleep 4 hours, and I know it's not sustainable, and it's not something that I will tell people to do, but it's the only time that I have, because I have a lot on my plate. So that's my typical day. And on weekends, I write for my clients.
The weekend is for client and other days is for you.
For example, my single tweets and my threads, I do write them mostly at nights or on the weekends. On the weekends, I try to write my threads or try to write the single tweets for the weeks, although I don't necessarily can do that every time. Sometimes I just do it daily. But I write for my clients at nights, on weekdays at night, and on weekends.
Okay. I forgot to ask a question around the platform. So you're focusing on Twitter, but I'm sure you thought about medium.com. There are 100 other sites. You just focus on Twitter?
I just focus on Twitter. I don't use any other social media site. Why? Because I definitely don't have the bandwidth to take any other. I've thought about LinkedIn, because I think audiences are more similar, and the type of content that I post on Twitter, maybe I can post on LinkedIn, but I don't have the bandwidth to, because if you post on a platform, you have, it's not just the posting, you have to answer the comments and interact with people that that follow you and that like your comment. So if I use another platform, it's going to take me a lot of more time, even though if it's the same content, I will have to engage with the people that follow me on the other social site. So I don't want to go crazy and I don't have the bandwidth to do that.
And there are tools that allow you to be central and push to multiple platforms, but I
Yes.
don't know how the interaction looks like there.
Yes, there are tools, but I'm an advocate against that because I hate cross-posting. I think that no one should use cross-posting. There's a certain art or rules to every platform. And even though the content might be very similar, for example, from Twitter to LinkedIn, you should always tailor that content for every platform. So for me, cross-posting is a big no-no. I hate it.
I think this is your focus, and it's been a year and a half almost, and you've been focused on this platform. I think that's one big reason for your success. I give you my example. I started making clips to post to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok so that other people can see and come here. And obviously, this is all a big distraction.
It's a lot, and you have a 9 to 5, so that's doing a lot.
With your full time, with your writing, you still find time for joining all the spaces on weekend.
I've caught a little bit on the spaces. I was doing 2 regular spaces on Saturdays, one at 1 and another one at 2 AST. But I've cut back on those because I was doing too much, and I was my sanity, and I was burnt out. So I decided to start cutting a lot of things because I was sleep deprived and trying to juggle everything. So it got to a point that I wasn't feel as maybe excited about everything because I was too tired. So I'm trying to dedicate. I write for my clients on the weekend, but I try to do as little spaces that I can because I don't want to.
And you said you only sleep 4 hours, right? That's what you said. 4. How long you been doing this?
For a few months. For a few months. No, it's not every day, of course. Sometimes I get more hours, but I would say that's the standard, my standard on the weekdays. I try to catch up on the weekends, but you know that doesn't work. So I try on Saturdays and Sundays get a little bit of more sleep, but I'm just giving this like 2 more months because, like I say, it's not sustainable. I'm just going to finish with the clients that I have, and from a few months from now, I'm just going to take like half the clients because I'm going out of my mind.
How do you manage your time?
I work with deadlines. I know some people don't like them, but I'm deadline oriented. So I have to give myself deadlines because if not, the job won't get done. So, and I try to do deadlines that challenge me, not so loosely that is like not having a deadline. No, I give myself deadlines, and I do it in writing in my proposals. So so far, I have stick to every deadline for my clients. I hope that I can keep doing it. For me, it's something very important because that you don't have to be the greatest writer in the world. Of course, you have to write well, but if you're an accountable person, that's what your clients are looking for, and that's something that is not easily found everywhere. So I try to be as accountable as I can to keep my clients happy.
Do you do any kind of block hours, or like some people use Pomodoro type thing, or some people use those 4 blocks?
No, sometimes I've tried to use the Pomodoro, and I have a Chrome extension that is basically the Pomodoro technique. And I've used it and it's really good. But like I said, I know a lot of other writers that are my friends. I have all these productivity hacks and everything. I don't work like that. I just have a deadline and I know that I have to do it, and I just sit and write and keep writing or doing research or whatever I'm doing. That's how I work. I just get it done. I don't have a choice, but I don't use those hacks and productivities because I think I'm old school.
Do you use any application or a list, a paper list for your task list?
I like to use my notebooks, and I have everything written down. I use handwriting. I know
No, this is amazing. This is
I'm really old school. I'm old.
I think you don't need all these, because it's needed by the people, and people like me, that if I'm doing something and then I easily get distracted to open my Twitter or Facebook or something, and and in seconds you see that 15 minutes or 30 minutes are gone,
Yeah.
and you don't have, I mean, you're disciplined already to to just focus on work, and you're not being distracted by other things. So I think you don't need, that's why you don't need other tools.
Yeah, I still have a lot of improvement to do because the phone is a huge distraction, and I try to hide the phone, but sometimes I just keep it on my side and it deters everything that you are doing. So I think that I have to still improve especially with the phone to help my productivity.
And phone is in phone call or social?
So Twitter,
Okay.
because I don't use any other. I rarely check my Facebook. I
Yeah.
rarely use Instagram, and those are the two social sites that I have on social media. LinkedIn, I have it, but I don't use it as often as Twitter. So it's just Twitter.
Where do you see yourself in like 2 years or 5 years?
Wow, that's a hard question because
I'm sure
right
you've
now,
been thinking about it, right? Especially between your full-time job and this.
yes. It's for me, it's my copywriting agency is doing really well. So of course I've thought about just investing full time on the copywriting agency. The thing is that I do like my 9 to 5, so it's a difficult decision
Mhm.
to do. And but maybe I stay with both, but I think I would like to my goal is to amplify my copywriting agency and trying to bring other people to distribute the work, because I do have a lot of work right now, and I would like to have other writers helping me, and maybe just I'm just tackling more the administrative side and having other people help me with the writing. So that's what I see myself doing 2 years from now. Maybe monetizing my audience in a different way. And I hate that. I hate that word, monetizing the audience, because it seems so transactional. So not monetizing, but maybe because right now I'm asked sometimes through the DMs. Actually, it's been increasing the people that are asking me for a course on copywriting. So maybe that's something that I want to explore down the line, and not just writing, but maybe consulting, copywriting, and everything. So that's where I see my journey 2 years from now, but I definitely will keep growing my copywriting agency, and I plan to bring other people to work with me as well.
That I have hired somebody to help me with my writing, so I can focus more on the video side. And it's an offshore person, and she was able to match to how I think and I write. And so she does all the research, all the the groundwork, and then I can go back and still do the fine tuning. But Sheila, I'm in this exact same boat as you. I love my full time job, and I've been growing in that job for last many years. I'm senior manager there, and I get to work with like 50 people, 50 people within the department, plus another 50 outside the department. And we recently have had a big go live, and I get to play a major role in that. Like I've worked with almost 100 people, and I was able to contribute to what they were doing by again connecting the dot, bringing people together, and making sure we are working on the highest priority item. Um, so it's so fascinating. You don't want to leave that, but at the same time, you have this other thing, right? And this will not become big until I mean, you're living in two boats.
Yeah.
And I get scared of thinking that what if this big too big, I will have to leave this, right? I can echo to what you're going through.
Yeah, it's I don't have an answer for that because it's a difficult decision, but I think that we are lucky because if we like our 9 to 5 plus our side hustles, I think we are more than lucky because I don't know the statistic right now, but I think it was like 70% of people hate their jobs. So if we have 2 jobs that we love, we are above the statistic and we are very lucky.
That's so good. Right. You're right. You gave me a completely new perspective.
Yeah. So people hate their jobs and we have two and we love both. So I think that this is a glass half full type of thing.
Yeah. All right. So moving to the next section, I wanted to ask you, is there any question that I have not asked but you want to answer?
I don't think so. I just get asked a lot the number. There are 2 questions that I get asked every day on the DMs. And one is, how do I start copywriting? The second is the resources that I need to start copywriting. And the first question, I always tell everyone, there's no one size fit all answer to how do I start copywriting. I have a lot of copywriter friends, and I don't think that we all started different ways. So I think that what works for me doesn't necessarily work for another person. But to start copywriting, you just need to want to learn because there are so many free resources, and I've put 2 very good resources on Twitter. The last one that I did, it was 21 free resources to learn copywriting. And the other one was the resources that I actually use to grow my skills as a copywriter. So you have YouTube channels, you have podcasts, you have blogs, you even have courses that are free. You have like the Neville Medora's copywriting course. He has a short free course. It only takes like 40 minutes, but you get the fundamentals. And you got the digital marketing certification from Google Garage. So that's an awesome resource, and you get a certification that is valued and you can use it in your resume if you want it. So I think there's so many available resources right now for anyone who wanted to start copywriting, so that there are no excuses. Maybe you don't have necessary the budget to do a really expensive course, because sometimes copywriting courses can be a bit on the high end side, but there are so many amazing free resources that you don't really have to pay a course if you don't want to. So just start writing. And my number one advice for anyone, I think Twitter is the best platform to learn copywriting, because you only get 280 characters. So it will teach you more than any course, because you have to learn conciseness, and you have to learn psychology, consumer behavior. You have to learn triggers, hooks. So just start writing on Twitter and you will learn copywriting.
I will add one more thing, is to focus on one platform or one thing. You cannot just do copywriting in YouTube and TikTok and 10 other things.
I think that when you're starting, you have to focus just on one platform, on one area. When you have grown your skills to a certain level, then you can diversify to other platforms, because in the end, it will help you. But when you're starting out that you don't quite get the platform, you just have to focus to get really good at that one.
My last question, what is your message to the audience?
My message to the audience is that there are no timelines, that you can do anything that you want and change your life, what you're doing anytime. Because, for example, I think Twitter is so much advice if you're in your 20s and if you are a young guy or a young girl and whatever. But what about the people that are in their 30s, in their 40s, and they still don't have all their life figured out? So I think that my message is that there are no timelines. The timeline, you make the timeline and you make it work for whatever. So if you are not satisfied with the way your life is going, your career is going, the best time to change it is right now. I did it. And it has worked for me. And I'm so happy right now writing. So if anyone is feeling that they don't have the excitement or the joy that they need in their life, in their career or anything, the time to do it is just right now. And you can do it. Anybody can do it. And there are no expectations or when to start or what to do. Just go with your gut and do what you're meant to do.
That's an awesome advice.
Thank you.
And I forgot to ask you, did you know Noel before or you met him in Twitter?
I met him in Twitter. We were actually introduced by another friend. He's Bernie. He introduced us because I remember he sent me a DM. He said, crazy thing, I just met another person from Puerto Rico. And I was like, yeah, because I haven't met a lot of Puerto Ricans on Twitter. And he told me, do you want me to introduce the two of you? And I said, he told me he's a copywriter as you. And I was like, Puerto Rican and a copywriter, that's weird. And he did introduce us and we become friends. And Noel is a dear friend. He's great. He's an amazing copywriter, so much more experienced than me. So I think he's great, and it's been a blessing to have him as a friend on Twitter and on real life.
His story is so fascinating. He's a person who has gone through a really tough phase in for 8-9 years. I did the interview with him. That interview is where I went deep and deep into his story, and I told him that a story will help so many people.
He's an amazing guy, one of the kindest people. I think that the people who have the most struggles are usually the kindest people. So that's Noel in a sentence for you.
Thank you so much, Sheila. It was a fun conversation. I admire you a lot. You know that. Thank you so much for the time today.
No, thank you for taking time to talk to me, and I appreciate it. And I wish you so many blessings, and just keep growing and doing what you're doing, because I think that you're going to do great. So thank you for having me.
Good night.
Good night. Take care. Thank you.